In this video, I'm walking you through how to do a lovely little rotation exercise called Modified IT Band Stretch. So for Modified IT Band Stretch, you may want to use a cushion if you feel like you are somebody who's quite tense through your neck and through your shoulders and through your upper body, but I'm personally not going to use a cushion today. I'm going to come down to my back into a hook lying position and pop my microphone on my chest. And in my opinion, you've kind of got two options here for your arms. You can either have your arms out to the side, so I'm really spreading my fingers really nice and wide. My arms are in a bit of a T position. When you look down at your hands, make sure that they're level with your shoulders. So you don't want them too far down, but neither do you want them too far up. You want that T position. So look at your hands. Are they level with your shoulders? Great. The fingers spread really wide, so your fingers are very much a participant of this exercise. And what you're going to try and do is to push down through the backs of your arms, your forearms and your hands. So your hands push into the floor, your forearms push into the floor, your upper arms push into the floor, and your shoulder blades push into the floor. You're very active here. If you've got yourself in this position and you're feeling or noticing that your shoulders are really rounded and your head is tilting backwards, then that is probably a sign that you are better off having a cushion underneath your head. Because if you're like this, you are very likely to make your neck feel more tense in this exercise. It should feel that the back of your neck is long, and it's almost like you're giving yourself a bit of a double chin because the neck is long and elongated rather than compressed into hyperextension. So this is one arm option. You're very active. I cannot reiterate that enough. You're pushing down on the floor and holding it. The second arm option is a little bit more passive, but it's still really productive. You're going to put your hands behind your head, and actually this is maybe where I'm going to go today. Hands behind head, deeply interlink your fingers. So make sure that your fingers aren't just kind of touching gently at the end. Really get them snug and fitted with one another. And what you're going to do, as much as pain will allow you to, is to try and keep your elbows grounded on the floor. So I'm still doing a sort of pushing backwards motion here. My elbows push backwards into the floor. The back of my neck stays long, so be wary of that tilting up chin. And hopefully you'll start feeling your kind of like shoulder blades and upper back and backs of your arms engage here. If you're restricted by pain, I think it is probably best off that you do this in a slightly more passive way. So if you want to just have your elbows kind of up a little bit more like this, then that is fine. I don't want you doing this if your shoulders are screaming at you in a ouch, this really hurts kind of way versus a they are working hard type way. So just to run through that again, you've got this as a hand option, as an arm option, very active pushing backwards through the whole of your arms, not letting the wrists come up off the floor, not letting the shoulder blades round up off the floor. And if that's a real struggle for you, which it is for me, I would recommend this option. You're still pushing backwards, you're still active, but it's going to probably feel a little bit more accessible to more people. Next up, without shifting your pelvis sideways, so we are not taking your pelvis to the right hand side here, the microphone, what we are going to do is cross our left knee or left leg over our right one. So it's like you're sat on a chair with crossed legs. At the moment, my left leg is like off out to the right hand side on a diagonal, which is what we want. If you had shifted your pelvis to the right, you might notice that your legs are kind of stacked directly in front of you, but I don't want you to do that. So we're bringing the pelvis back to center. Grab my watch. Bringing the pelvis back to center. No sideways shift in the pelvis. My left knee goes over the right one. And then very slowly, very mindfully, I'm going to twist my lower body to the left-hand side. So the left knee is on top, the right knee is underneath. And I'm only twisting as far as I can go before the opposite shoulder starts to lift up off the floor. So your goal here is not to get your knees on the floor. It's about twisting only as far as the opposite shoulder tells you to. So if I was trying to get my knees down to the floor, my right shoulder would start lifting up with me, and my right arm and my right hand and my right wrist. So if you've got the extended arm option, make sure you're only twisting as far as you can while still be able to maintain that strong downward push through the whole arm, including the wrists. Don't let those wrists pyramid up. And likewise, if you're doing this, we're pushing backwards into the floor with our elbows to wake up our triceps and our rhomboids. We're twisting, we're not forcing, we're letting our body be where it wants to be. And we're going to twist our head to the opposite way if we can comfortably. And I'm going to set my timer here for a minute. Off we go. So first things first, in a twist, you may well notice that you want to hold your breath. And I really want you to breathe into this. So you're breathing into your nose, expanding the sides of your ribs, and releasing through your nose. The feet are relaxed, the belly is relaxed, the jaw is relaxed. If you're doing the same arm position as me, you're going to be working those elbows hard backwards into the floor, not letting your right shoulder lift up. Keeping them so your shoulders and arms are working hard no matter what version you're doing, but the lower body is fairly passive. And what we're achieving here is a spinal rotation, but at the same time, we're also getting hip extension through that right hip. So we're doing a hip stretch, which is quite nice. We've got about 5 seconds left here, and that's time. This is absolutely an exercise that you could hold for even up to 5 minutes on each side if you wanted to, but for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to do a minute on either side. Bringing myself back to center, putting my legs back down in that kind of starting position, making sure that toes, ankles, knees, and hips are in alignment to begin. I'm not shifting my pelvis to the left-hand side as I take my right knee over my left knee. So when I'm set up correctly, my left leg is still in alignment with my hip and my right leg is on a diagonal towards the left. And then keeping the backs of my shoulders and the backs of my arms grounded against the floor. I'm going to twist gently. I'm not forcing. I'm just seeing where my body can go. Twisting to the right-hand side this time, turning my head towards the left-hand side to get the neck involved in the rotation. I'm active through my left shoulder, making sure that the left shoulder and arm isn't coming along with me. And I'm just holding this, breathing into my ribs for 1 minute for the purpose of the video. But like I said, I probably recommend holding this for anywhere up to like 5 minutes on each side if it feels good for you to do. I'm not forcing my legs anywhere. My feet are relaxed. My knees are relaxed. My hips and pelvis are relaxed. But my upper body is working hard to kind of ground me down. So the upper body is stabilizing whilst the spine gets a twist, the pelvis gets a twist, the hips get a twist. But really importantly is that my left hip is also getting extension too. So this is a nice exercise to kind of counteract a long day at your desk. You've got just over 50 minutes. Get those rib cages moving with the breath. Active through the arms and through the shoulders. I love this exercise. I love anything twisty. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. That's a minute there. And that was a walkthrough of modified IT band stretch. I hope you enjoyed.